So recently, managing Madrid journalist Kiyan Sobhani went on the Rabona TV show, and he talked about why he thought that Mbappe and Vinicius are actually a great duo, that they have very complementary skill sets, and that it's only a matter of time before this duo have amazing chemistry. And I'm sorry to say, I think that nearly everything he said was complete nonsense. Didn't make any sense. So let's look at some of the things he said.
But Kiyan still doesn't see the fight for the left as an issue. In fact, it could be a strength in the future.
I think it actually benefits them that they like to play on the left more because they'll be able to be in close proximity with each other in order to break lines, in order to kind of combine with each other, link up, kind of the way Benzema and Cristiano used to, the way Benzema and Vini used to. Mbappe's profile is not dissimilar to Benzema. I mean, the one thing that he doesn't have over Benzema is the aerial ability, and he doesn't have the defensive awareness and pressing ability that Benzema had. But he does have the link-up ability.
Okay, I don't even know how to respond to this. He's saying that because both of them are left wingers, it's a good thing because they're close to each other and they can then link up with each other? By that logic, shouldn't every team just play 10 left wingers and one goalkeeper? Or play 10 central midfielders? Or play 10 center forwards, all packed together in the box? In what world is playing players of the same position a smart thing to do? And even if you want players in close proximity with one another, it's because they should have complementary skill sets. For example, Ronaldo and Marcelo, it works because Ronaldo was more focused on the off-the-ball movement, and Marcelo was the dribbler. You can't just put two left wingers together and expect them to work out well because they're in close proximity to one another. That makes zero sense. And then he said that Mbappe is a similar player to Benzema. What? These two players are completely different profiles. Their playing styles are nothing alike. And the logic for them being similar makes even less sense because they both do link-up play. By that logic, Benzema must have a similar playing style to Pedri because both of them do link-up play. This is just such strange reasoning to say that two players have similar playing styles. No, Mbappe and Benzema have completely different playing styles. And then he goes on to say this.
But they'll figure it out because
They have skills that complement each other because we've seen Mbappe coexist with Neymar, we've seen Vini coexist with Benzema. And so we've seen kind of iterations of a duo like this with them involved to know that it can work. And that's the reason I'm pretty optimistic about it, to be honest with you.
This makes zero sense as well. He's basically saying because these duos worked out, then Mbappe and Vinicius must work out as well. How does this make any sense? So firstly, he mentions Mbappe and Neymar. Mbappe and Neymar worked out because Neymar was more of a number 10 by the time he went to PSG. He was drifting very centrally, regardless of whether Mbappe was on the pitch or not. With Neymar as more of a number 10 and Mbappe as more of a left-wing outlet, it was much smoother. As for Vinicius and Benzema, this comparison makes even less sense. Vinicius is a left winger who's more of an outlet player. Benzema is a traditional center forward who likes to drift around. Hold up play, back to goal. You have a left winger playing as a left winger and a center forward playing as a center forward. This is completely different from having two players who both like to play as left wingers. It's not just the fact that Mbappe and Vinicius are both left wingers. It's the fact that both Mbappe and Vinicius are left wing outlet players. Now Mbappe has a much more complete game than Vinicius, but arguably his strongest strength is his outlet ability down the left wing. When he plays with Vinicius, that part of the game, it's almost non-existent because Vinicius is a pretty one-dimensional left-wing outlet. Other than being a strong outlet on the left wing, he doesn't have that much more to his game. So he focuses on being an outlet down the left wing for most of the game. Mbappe doesn't have the chance to showcase his left-wing outlet abilities. The fact that Mbappe is performing right now isn't because of Vinicius. It's in spite of Vinicius. I mean, frankly speaking, the fact that Mbappe has been performing at such a high level recently, despite not being able to use his left-wing outlet abilities at all, it's amazing. And it just goes to show how amazing of a player he is. The fact that he can perform at such a high level, even when he's nerfed on that side, even when he's not able to showcase what is arguably his greatest strength. And after that, Kiyan goes on a strange tangent, and he starts blaming Ancelotti.
Would another manager come in and with this exact same squad maximize it better? Should a team with Vini and Mbappe and Jude and Rodrigo be scraping by 1-0 or not scoring at all, or when coming up against a good team being outscored 9-2 against Barca over 2 games. Or you think about Milan and Liverpool, and you want to factor in all those games, the margin is even more.
Okay, this part makes even less sense. How are you blaming Ancelotti for this? You're putting him in an impossible situation. You're giving him 2 left wingers where both of their greatest strengths are being an outlet down the left-hand side. And you're expecting him to work it out perfectly. That makes no sense. And what makes this even weirder is that Ancelotti is literally one of the best managers in the world when it comes to dealing with offensive players, when it comes to bringing out the best out of attacking talent. Ronaldo had some of his best seasons under Ancelotti. Milan's attack with Shevchenko and Inzaghi was best when Ancelotti was at the helm. Drogba and Chelsea had by far their best attacking season in the 09-10 season. And you know who was at the helm at the time? Ancelotti. He's an amazing offensive manager. And that's not going to change just because he's dealing with an almost impossible situation. If anything, I think he's dealt with the situation very well. Now, I don't know what Kiyan is saying, honestly. I honestly feel that he's never really watched Mbappe. Because I don't know how anyone can watch Mbappe and possibly be saying these things. Has he even watched Neymar before? How are you comparing the Mbappe-Neymar duel with Mbappe and Vinicius? 2 completely different duels. Now, me personally, I think the best solution is for Madrid to sell Vinicius. And if they don't sell Vinicius, it's just going to be an awkward situation where Mbappe will still continue performing, but not performing at his best possible level because you're restricting him from using arguably his greatest strength. Mbappe is literally the best left-wing outlet of all time, and he's not able to use that ability right now because Vinicius has clogged up that end. And Vinicius has to deal with Mbappe drifting left regularly, which isn't going to help him because he likes holding up that end. It's never going to be a perfect duel. If it works out in the end, it'll be in spite of their differences and incompatibilities, not because that they are a good duel.